If you are the type of guy who wants a step-by-step blueprint to get in the best shape in your entire life, this is the video for you. I give away every single piece of information that I know for free, and there are 4 steps. There is the mindset part, the diet, and then training, and exactly how to structure your workouts. They are all equally as important. If you implement all of this information, you will get in the best shape in your entire life, because this is exactly what I use, it's exactly what my clients use, and there's enough of all the contradicting workouts. This is the blueprint. Watch it, take notes, and no problem. If I had a video like this when I first started working out, I would have been in shape after 1 year max instead of training for 8 whole years, actually trying to get my dream physique. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get into how I went from soft 15 to 20% body fat to sub 10% body fat, lean and muscular, all naturally. I've never taken anything. This has been 100% natural, like no gear, peptides, whatever. If you don't think you can get lean and put on a bunch of muscle, this is the video for you, and I will go over the exact blueprint, okay? Like, I want you to know that I never came from perfect genetics, looking amazing or anything, right? 2019, we can get into a quick story about myself. 1 year into training, super skinny, right? I literally worked out, I did ab workouts in my garage every single week, but I was kind of just consistently bad, right? I didn't really track my food, didn't really eat much food or enough protein or anything like that, didn't really work out too much. Then lockdown happened. I started training with weights properly with some dumbbells and a bench in my garage. I actually started eating a bit more protein, but I wasn't really tracking. I wasn't eating correctly. I wasn't, like super consistent with my diet and my actual habits. And although I trained hard and I showed up, I still was lacking that muscle. Kind of had abs, but the body fat was still there, right? 2021 was when it actually started to make a bit of a change, right? For me, it was this is when I joined the gym. Okay, I started counting protein and I was actually hitting it most days, right? My diet was getting better. I was progressively overloading. When you actually start to, control your diet, control your protein intake, and you stay consistent to these habits, that's when you start to see some sort of progress in your physique, right? And this was when in 2022 when I actually knuckled down on the training. I made great progress, but I couldn't quite take it to that next level, right? I did this while partying every weekend at school and revising for exams. So I actually built a pretty good physique. It was because I had these habits in place where I'd go out partying and then the next day I'd still hit my protein, I'd still train even whilst I was hungover, and I just kept going on and on and on. In 2023, because obviously I'm just going through every single year of my life, right? And then I'll show you how it sort of developed me into the version of me where I was shredded right at the end. But in 2023, it was actually my first year in uni, and look, my physique looked the exact same. And I promise you, this really bothered me. It really, really bothered me when my physique was stuck like this, because when I was training every single year in the past, it was good because I was kind of progressing, right? And then when I looked the same, actually arguably worse, because of the partying in uni, I still worked out, but I just gained body fat and lost muscle because my diet wasn't as good, my habits weren't as good. My routine wasn't as good, and it just caused me to gain a bit of body fat, and I looked okay, but I wanted to put on muscle and get more peeled, and I wasn't happy. So I went in an emergency bulk, right? Emergency, because I did intend to bulk up, but it was free for all. The eating was free for all, right? But the emergency bulk was stupid, because this is how I looked. I look like a rugby forward prop, like a power lifter, excess body fat. It wasn't a good look. People was it was more gym bro and not lean aesthetic physique, and I didn't like that. I ate 5,000 to 6,000 calories every single day for 3 months and gained over 12 kilos. This is very humble. It was probably about 14 kilos. And the 5 to 6K calories a lot of it was clean from Whole Foods, which is quite ironic because I gained 12 kilos from literally Whole Foods. Some of it was kind of ordering in or pizza or overeating, but a lot of it was just overeating the normal foods. Some of it I'd force it down. Other days I would just spiral and just eat whatever the hell was put in front of me. It was a really kind of just bad situation, and I gained a lot, right? Including a lot of overeating. Then in July 2024, I went on an aggressive cut, but look, I'm still soft, watery. The aggressive cut didn't work because look, I'm still flat, soft, puffy. The tan didn't save me. And I was tensing, every muscle in this picture, and I was still soft, kind of abs, right? And then fast forward the next month. This is 5 weeks, right? I knew I cracked the code when I genuinely looked completely different in 5 weeks. And that's basically more progress than like I had an entire year, and it was all done naturally. This was my light bulb moment, and this is what I want to elaborate on a lot more in this video and how I actually did it. This is when I actually got an absolutely unbelievable physique, because I knew the exact structure and like the 4 phases I needed to follow in order to actually get and look good for a long period of time. So now we have 2025, and I kept the momentum going. I'm in my dream physique. I don't stress about meal plans, calories, tracking every calorie. Like, you don't need to worry about that stuff when your actual lifestyle and structure is in place. This is what I want to show you. You have to work for it, okay? There's no magic wand. This isn't like I need to see more information, I need to go over everything, and I need to, think about all this information. This is like, you see this, you put in the work, because it's all your responsibility. I want you to understand, your physique is your fault and your responsibility. I put in the work, okay? I had the right structure where I knew that the work I was putting in was going to work, but it's your responsibility to make it work. There's no magic wand. Like, let's say you sit a driver's test, there's no guarantee you're gonna pass the driver's test, but you take the test for the result. You take the test because you know you will put in the work. You take the test even though it's not guaranteed, because of the outcome, because you back yourself, because you put in the work. It's the same thing with the physique. If you're thinking it isn't, it is. There's no guarantees when you step foot in the gym you get in shape, because there are fat guys who go to the gym and they're not in shape, because there's no guarantees that working out gets you in shape. But the guarantee is when you actually implement what I tell you, and you actually put in the work, and you actually stay consistent. That's the guarantee, okay? That's why I say you have to work for it. I'm not trying to tell you off or anything. I'm just saying, genuinely, a lot of people think this is like a magic wand overnight solution. No, it's like you need to actually put in the work. And now you've got me in August. Obviously I have the big tiger on my chest now. bit of a difference from last time. Still ripped. Still managed to keep that same physique. Again, no calorie tracking. Tracking your calories is fine initially, but you want to get to a point where you don't need to rely on that, because you want this to be sustainable. You don't want to be the guy who brings out a scale when you're on a date or something. This is a complete shifted identity, habits, and mindset, right? Just the reliable structure, as I mentioned here. So I'll get into it, right? There is the Rourke Gaines pyramid, which is what I like to call it. These are the 4 phases, okay? So you have the identity and standards. If your identity and standards aren't on point, then the next 3 don't matter. Because I can give you what you eat, how you train, how you progress, your actual training sessions to put on muscle whilst you're losing the weight. If you don't have the identity and standards for yourself, you won't stick to it, you won't see the point of doing it, and you won't do it correctly. So you have to have that mindset first before you do it, right? You have to have that consistent, motivational, disciplined mindset where it's bang, I'm going to stick to this every single day. And how I sort of go about this is a flow chart here, okay? And it starts off with the identity and standards flow chart, where it's belief precedes all evidence, okay? When you say, I just want to lose a couple pounds, or realistically I want to look like this at my age or at my situation, enough info, my guy. That's limiting belief central. You need to set yourself a proper goal, or you won't get there. Do you think, if I go back, do you think this version of me said, I just want to lose a couple pounds? Do you think this version of me said, oh, I just want to maybe add a bit of muscle? No, these versions of me said, I want to be the best guy when my shirt comes off. And that's how I got there. So when you say the word realistically to yourself, it kills. That's not going to get you out of bed in the morning. It's not, okay? When you wake up on a normal morning at 4 a.m, you're very inclined to click the snooze button, right? If I set an alarm at 3 a.m. for you tomorrow, you probably click snooze. Or you probably just turn the alarm off, go back to sleep. But if I put the alarm on at 3 a.m. and I said there's a holiday to Mykonos or Ibiza or anywhere super nice, the Maldives, you would get up on that. You could probably get up before the alarm and spring out of bed. If the flight was at 5 or 6, you would be springing out of bed because you have reason to. So when you actually have a strong enough reason to train and work out, guess what's going to happen? Guess what? You're actually going to stick to it. So don't say the word realistically or at my age or my situation. No, actually give yourself a proper goal and back it with action. Because when you've got a proper goal and you actually back it with the right structure, what I'm going to lay out here, as I've said a lot of times, then you're actually going to get there. If you give yourself a terrible goal, then do you expect to be anything outside of looking average or okay? No, you need to actually it's uncomfortable, but you need to give yourself a proper goal and actually believe in yourself and be empowered and give a proper goal. I want to be the guy who's ripped. I want to be the guy who looks awesome. I want to be the guy who feels so confident. That's how I got there, okay? Then you need to take relentless ownership. Never I can't. It needs to be how can I. Don't be like, I can't fit the workout. I can't eat like this because I'm too busy. I can't fit in this workout because I'm too stressed. Or I can't do this because I only have half an hour. Think, how can I? Because whatever you're looking for, you'll find. If I tell you, go outside, count up all the red cars and come back to me with that number. You come back, you say, Rourke, I saw 5 red cars. I tell you, how many green cars did you see? Oh, I don't know, I wasn't looking for it. Exactly. Because when you're looking for all the ways in which you can't work out, guess what you're going to find? If you look for all the ways in which you can work out, guess what you're going to find? Oh, maybe I actually have that half-hour pocket. Maybe after work, I have that 45-minute availability. Or maybe I can meal prep. Or I can choose a more convenient option from the shops rather than going for the meal deals or the bad options. If you keep looking for all the ways in which you can do something, how much more empowered would that be? And how much more likely would you be to actually get your dream physique? A lot of the time, it may not even be loads more information. It's actually you just looking for ways in which you can do it and you following the exact structure you need tailored to you to actually get ripped. That's how you do it. Okay, thirdly, adapt, don't quit. Let's be honest, there's never a perfect road and the world's never perfect. There's going to be stuff happening. The winners, they adapt. Okay, like genuinely, the winners adapt. When something happens in your life and you see this bad event and you adapt to it. Like for example, when I hurt my knuckle and I couldn't train for 2 months, I could have said, damn, I'm injured, I'm on medicine, I feel terrible, I'm going to give up and I'll try again in 2 to 3 months. And that's not even guaranteed as well, because you can quit for 2 months and then you fall into a new identity of someone who's out of weight, and then you just give up on fitness completely when you quit, right? Because when you quit initially or when you lose progress initially, that doesn't mean you're going to get back there. You could just quit. So what I did is I was like, I'm going to adapt. How can I be the best version of me even when my knuckle is feeling bad? So I got my diet on point. I got my recovery on point. I still trained legs. I still did cardio. Not super intense cardio, just like easy walking zone 2. I actually got in very solid shape. My body was fully recovered and I got in the best shape in my entire life 4 months after the injury, 2 months after I was back. Because I literally kept my diet and habits and lifestyle so perfect that just because I didn't train for 2 months, I didn't even lose that much muscle and I got back training. It was insane, right? And for example, like when the event happens for the adapting point, let's say social event where you feel like garbage, stressful day, or work runs late, etc. Okay, there's 2 outcomes you can take. There's adapting to it, or there's the excuse, right? When you give an excuse and you let your situation overcome you, that's when you stay small, that's when you stay stuck, soft, and you never progress. Because this is what's going to happen, right? Let's say you have an event come up and you're like, okay, I'm going to skip working out, and then, okay, I let myself down on diet, I skip my workout, I'll take this weekend off as well. Boom. You're written off for a few days, okay? And then maybe you start again next week. Good, you go for the next couple of weeks, then another event happens, and then you give up for a little bit, you fall off track, not good, you lose all the progress you made in the previous couple of weeks. Then you get back on it. It's like again and again and again, it's a constant cycle of no progression. Like, do you want to wait for the perfect moment, or do you want to make it the perfect moment no matter what happens? Because there's a version of you, which we'll get into, who actually adapts to the bad, let's say work runs late, and maybe you move the workout to tomorrow, but you keep diet perfect and you don't overeat that night. And then you adapt. And then when all this shit gets thrown at you, you catch it and you throw it back even harder. And then when stuff gets perfect, it's easy. Because if you can adapt when life gets busy, life gets tough, life gets stressful, life gets time consuming, when you're uncertain about taking action on yourself and you overcome it anyway, guess what happens? Because when everything is all perfect, it's a breeze. Staying consistent when everything's perfect is easy then, because you can deal with it in the hard moments, and then in the easy moments it's so easy. Like, I remember I worked in fish and chips, and I had my co-worker saying, Rourke, do you want burger, do you want pizza? I was tired, I was hungry, I was stressed, and I knew I had to travel 1.5 hours to my preferred gym afterwards. I denied all the food because I had my goals. I ate my meal prep, which I really like because mince and rice tastes amazing. And I went to the gym and I had a really, really good workout. And then I went on holiday after that and felt amazing because I put in the work, because I adapted on all the roadblocks in my life. And when you do that, oh my God, you will be like absolutely amazing. And that's the mindset of a ripped person. It's built through reps. It's not overnight. It's built through doing the same thing and overcoming the same issues and sticking to the plan and sticking to the actual correct structure again and again and again and again, even when you're uncertain, because you understand who's the guarantee, you're the guarantee, because you put in the work. This is the mindset you need. It's so direct. It is so blunt. But this is the mindset which is genuinely going to change your life and make you absolutely relentless. Like all these guys in shape, when they try and sell you your dream thing, and they say, nope, it's overnight success, it's you don't put in any work, it's completely just, I just give it to you and then you get the result. Nope. Like, I will guide you, I will hold you accountable, I will give you the information in this video. It's you who puts in the work, because this is everything you'd ever need in order to get shape for life. You don't need anything else outside of this video. You follow this, you get in shape. I can hold you accountable like I hold my clients accountable, but like this is it. Like when it's tailored towards you, that's when there's going to be serious change. Like genuinely, when it's tailored towards your situation, that's how you actually stick to it and you look absolutely unbelievable, right? Now we'll get into diet, okay? This is fueling yourself, don't feed the cravings, okay? The whole purpose of diet isn't just a get lean, not fat, a get lean quick scheme, okay? It's not just a fat loss tool. It's a method to maximize training performance. When you eat to train harder, recover faster, sleep better, and stay focused, you will build more muscle. When you have more muscle, it makes fat loss easier, not harder. The whole purpose of dieting and eating is to provide nutrition for your body so you feel awesome, give you obviously protein so you can gain muscle, be in a position where you're energized to gain muscle, and then once you've gained the muscle, you become a fat burning machine, because you can research this if you don't believe me, your metabolism drastically increases when you gain the muscle. And also, newsflash, you can gain muscle whilst you're on a cut as well. So whilst you're losing weight, you can gain muscle, and that's what I will go into here. Okay, but before I do, I want to let you know why poor food choices fail. Poor quality food is, in my opinion, it's pretty pointless. Like in social occasions for work, or on a birthday, or friends, yes, eat whatever you want. That's the whole point. The whole point of looking good is so you can eat what you want eventually on a special occasion, not all the time. But the reason why I avoid eating, bad foods when I'm by myself and I'm actually trying to really make a change in myself is because they provide no performance boost, no recovery benefit, no long-term upside. It tastes good temporarily, then it actively just kills your training, sleep, hunger control. Like, these foods, there are like scientists researching in the world, trying to improve all the gadgets and technology. Those same scientists research making food as addictive as possible. Like, there are guys, there are dudes who spend hours every single day going over how your hunger spikes work, how your craving spike work in humans, and designing foods with the exact salt, sugar, sweetness, crunch, all of those ratios to make it as addictive as possible, where you're literally fighting against more discipline to not eat more than to actually eat the food in the first place. That's the levels they go to. That's why I don't eat junk, okay? It kills your focus as well. You literally pay a cost with zero ROI. The ROI is instant gratification, which isn't even that good because it goes away after your first bite, right? Your results are dictated by what you do 95% of the time, not occasionally. Hence why I said if you go out with clients or on a birthday or family or friends, one off, you're going to be all good, bro. You're going to be all good, okay? The 3 core pillars I follow, and I've simplified this as much as possible so you can implement and follow. 4 to 10 whole eggs daily, yes, with the yolks. It doesn't have to be 10. I eat 10, doesn't need to be 10. I find when you eat egg yolks, you feel awesome, you feel energized, and you feel very high testosterone. It kills hunger, okay? And then red meat is beef, mince, steak, any quality ruminant source. These are the two most micronutrient dense foods, okay? The most bioavailable protein and all of the healthy fats to support your hormones and recovery. These are your primary fat source, and this is where you get all your energy. Obviously, we have some paid actors in the background through the dogs. Hopefully you can hear me. But here's the thing. In pillar 2, we have the carbohydrates, okay? Carbs fuel gym performance. You need to time these around your workouts, depending on where you are in your fat loss or muscle building phases. Okay, you can have them before and after, or just before. It really depends on how much fat you're trying to lose. If you're really trying to shred down, you can maybe just have it before, but typically for me, it's like before and after, and you time your carbs around there. And it's rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, that's it. I don't eat like bread, I don't eat oats. Like, oats are okay, but to be honest, you know, they kind of give me brain fog. They give some people I know brain fog. I would stick with rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes 95% of the time for your slow release carbs. These are the best carbs. Like rice, pre-workout, yes. Potatoes, pre or post. They're slower releasing, more volume, more filling, more fiber, a lot better, okay, to keep you full on a rest day. But rice is a good pre-workout. Pillar 3, here are the supporting animal foods, because you know, eggs and red meat, you're going to get protein. You're not going to get all your protein from having like 6 eggs and some and like a steak. You're going to have a bit more protein, and you fill it out through leaner sources. So you're not adding a ton of calories because you're already getting enough fats from the red meat, from the eggs. You don't need to have even more. So it's chicken, fish, dairy. Dairy, like, okay, if you want, you know, low-fat cottage cheese or maybe even Parmesan cheese, that's fine. I would really just recommend chicken, tuna, salmon. It can be a tuna steak or even tin tuna, that easy. Chicken thighs, maybe. Take off the skin, take away the bone. It'll be leaner. Chicken breasts. Chicken breasts, people say it's boring. You season them up, they taste amazing. And they are very, very good. Like, they're a bit of a staple outside of the eggs and red meat. For the fruit, you know, it's always allowed, right? High volume, low calorie. Watermelon, kiwi, frozen berries are especially useful. Like dates and like bananas, they're good, but the ROI for the calories aren't amazing, because when you think about it, like you can have the exact same number of strawberries and blueberries. Let's say like the calories of strawberries and blueberries, if you compare the same number of calories of banana and dates, you'll get much higher volume of strawberries and blueberries and watermelon, right? Those foods are very high in volume, low in calorie. Watermelon, blueberries, strawberries. So you can have a lot of them for low calorie. Whereas dates and bananas, it's like kind of, you know, they have more calories and a bit less volume. So when you're really trying to lose the weight, I would go to watermelon, frozen blueberries, and strawberries. And then when you're like not in as aggressive of a cut, then you can have your bananas. They're all healthy, but some you can make smarter choices with your calories. Kiwis are just in the middle, but kiwis are so nutrient dense, if you want to include a kiwi, you can. But it's your choice on how scarce you want to be with your calories, because like calories are like a wallet, right? It's like money. It's like you don't want to just blow them on things which are like won't keep you as full, which is like banana and dates, even if they are healthy. That's like my opinion. I would just stick with watermelon and frozen berries, okay? They're definitely going to be the best. Fats primarily come from eggs and red meat and butter. You don't need oils, you don't need processed fats. You don't even need like avos and like all these loads of different cheeses, and like just have eggs, red meat and butter. That will hit your fat target for the day, and then just focus on high volume. Vegetables, carbs, fruit, all like chicken breast, fish, tuna, boom, that's what you focus on. That's the structure. That's how you actually eat. You don't waste your calories on like loads of other pointless fats or like all these Greek yogurt balls. Like Greek yogurt balls are nice, but is it worth the calories when you can have bigger meals with like chicken, sweet potatoes and all these other things? Depends. If you have a sweet tooth, blueberries, watermelon, strawberries, frozen, amazing. You can even make a shake, which is like ice, and then it's frozen watermelon and frozen blueberries, and you blend it all up, and you put some coconut water in it. Because then there's no like excess calories, it's just the fruit, but it's like a slush. That's just a quick example off the top of my head, right? But vegetables add volume, support digestion without blowing calories. Carrots, cucumber, any vegetables you prefer. Why have I not got lettuce in here? Lettuce, exclamation mark, iceberg. Iceberg lettuce is genuinely one of the GOATs. No calories, such high volume, just chop it in half, put half of your lunch one day and half of your lunch the other day. They're very good. Include iceberg lettuce as your vegetables as well. Obviously broccoli's fine as well. It's like loads of fiber, will keep you full, will increase volume. It's this simple, okay? Like the actual food amounts, you're watching this video, I can't directly speak to you. So I don't know the exact number to the gram. But when you follow the structure and you actually do this again and again, you won't even need to weigh your food. You'll just watch your weight go down and you can adjust accordingly. That's how simple it is. All these people who want to be bodybuilders and they bring their scale everywhere. I don't even do that and I'm in better shape than you. Not being arrogant, I'm just saying, right? Daily practices here. Here we have weigh-ins. Daily weigh-ins create awareness, not obsession. They help track trends, allow accurate adjustments and catch issues early. When you weigh yourself, you can't hide from the facts. The cold hard data is that your weight is either going up, going down or stagnating. So you know that some adjustments need to be made either in your cardio or in your diet by eating less food, whether that's less carbs, protein, or fats, really depends on how you feel. If you feel like your energy is down and terrible, which shouldn't be the case, you definitely need more fats and you're not eating enough fats. If you're just eating way too many carbs and you're feeling like you're just gaining body fat, maybe you decrease that a little bit more. The daily weigh-ins, when the data's in front of you, you can't hide from it, as I said. So that's when you know how to actually adjust your diet. Pre-workout, it's always water, sea salt, and some form of fruit. For me, I like blueberries. So it's water, sea salt, and then I have blueberries, right? Bang, you're getting the antioxidants, you're getting the electrolytes, you're getting the hydration. Perfect before your workout. I might have them with lunch and then work out after lunch, or you have that with your breakfast, you work out after breakfast, or with dinner, whatever. Steps, 10k steps is a baseline. That's nothing new. You know that doing 10k steps is good, but the more steps you do, the better, okay? Could be getting a walking pad. Could be on your break at work, you go on steps. Could be in the morning when you wake up, you do fasted a couple thousand steps. When you're just relaxing, you should get a walking treadmaster and go over your emails on it. I know it seems a lot, but how badly do you want it, right? Those walking pads change the game. Finding time to get more steps in changes the game. Treadmill after workout. Boom. Zone 2 is the best cardio. Stairmasters are kind of boring, don't enjoy them, bit tiring. Steps are the best. Zone 2 cardio, just try and fit it in. It's kind of like a video game. It's how many steps you can get per day. Okay, and then if I go into cravings, I don't deal with cravings because my diet and structure and habits and mindset's on point. That's what happens when you actually completely take ownership of your whole fitness journey. You don't really deal with the cravings. Cravings are only as bad as what you think they are. And when you're actually nourishing your body and you have the nutrients and you're building muscle and you're feeling great, cravings are completely pointless. I kind of laugh if it even crops up in my brain and I know nothing's going to happen. They almost always mean you're under-eating your fuel sources, not lacking willpower. If you're hitting your eggs, red meat, carbs and fruit daily, cravings will very likely drop on their own and your body isn't starved. Combine that with a relentless mindset to when you drive past junk food or any places which trigger cravings, you're completely immune to it. That's where the identity comes in. That's where the accountability comes in and you hold yourself accountable to that. The rule I say is no solo junk food. If you want something outside the plan, that's a social decision, right? Not a coping mechanism at 9 p.m. if you have a stressful day or you're bored. That's the difference. Binging and cravings and eating a bunch of junk is not meant for when you're by yourself at 9 p.m. and you're bored and you're stressed. Binging's not meant for when you're out anyway, but when you're out with friends, you can kind of have a dessert, bro. You can eat a nice meal. That's the whole point, looking good and feeling great about yourself so you can actually enjoy yourself out. That's the whole point. Fruit exists specifically to kill sugar cravings without the crash. Use the fruit before you reach for anything processed. Snacks are not good, but if it's directly a fight or flight between you having a bunch of cravings or you just having a bit of extra berries, obviously go for the berries, right? They're only as serious as you make them, as what I told you. Genuinely, once you actually have that mindset there, the cravings just get handled. The long-term strategy, right, is to lift heavier weights, get more muscle stimulus, higher metabolic demand, easier fat loss. More muscle, increased metabolism, increased fat loss, right? That's why training performance drives physique change, not starvation. You need to directly focus on how strong you can get in the gym, which is what I'll go to, within the 4 to 9 rep range. You build strength and muscle first, then fat loss becomes easy. When you're jacked, you can eat more and stay lean. There's a reason why I eat a lot of food and I stay lean, because my gym performance is so good. Okay, I have all this energy and my body's a fat burning machine. And it sounds simple because it is, because that's how you can actually get to where you can eat a lot of food and you just offloading all that output in the gym and you're feeling absolutely awesome, right? This diet is not about restriction, it's about eating to perform at a high level. When you do that consistently, guess what's gonna follow? The best physique that you've ever wanted, okay? Now we're getting to training. A lot of people actually like really underestimate workouts. Like, oh, I really work out, I really train hard. Buddy, you're in for a treat. Do you want to train kind of hard, look kind of good? Or do you want to look the best you can possibly look like? And if you're thinking, oh, I still only want to lose a couple pounds and look okay, let's be honest and go back to the start, okay? Not the start, but we can go back to here. Set yourself an actual goal. Like those goals where nobody knows and it's just you keeping it to yourself. And it's like, damn, that'll be nice. That's the goal you need to set for yourself. And that's likely a pretty darn awesome physique, okay? So if we go to the workouts now, how to actually train for muscle growth. Training for muscle growth isn't about showing up and moving weight. It's about systematic progression, okay? Every single workout, oh wait, was it? I was mid-explaining to you guys about the workout and it's just moving back there for some reason. But every single workout must give your body a reason to adapt, or you're simply confirming it doesn't need to change. If you just go to the gym and you lift the same weights over and over again, how are you expecting to look anything different? If you don't track your workouts, how are you expecting to look anything different if you don't even know if you're progressing or not? And you might know, okay, this session I moved up. I mean, this exercise I moved up. But what about for the 6 other exercises and your warm-up sets and your working sets? And then week on week on week, you need to have it all logged. If you're not tracking, you're slacking. Like if you don't even log it or you don't know for 100% fact you're tracking and it's going well, you're leaving gains on the table, okay? Because the purpose of every single workout is to outperform the previous one. This means achieving one of the following or multiple, right? But at least one. More weight than last time, more reps than last time, better control at the same load. Without progression, there's no adaptation signal. This is why tracking is important, because you can get the same reps, same weight, but there can still be progressive overload if your form is better. Maybe you have more control, right? Maybe the first time you did it, the form was a bit iffy and now it's very good. That's still progression, right? The actual execution of the workout you need to do is every set has to be intentional. Before starting any working set, I know the weight I used last session, the reps I got, and the target to be. If you go into a workout exercise and you don't know these 3 things, you are guessing, you are going through the motions, and this is like the equivalent of driving somewhere and you don't know where you're driving, you're just guessing and hoping you get there. Very low possibility you'll get there. You're like, there needs to be actual structure and you knowing what you're doing, okay? Train till failure or near failure. Muscle growth occurs at failure. Most people stop due to discomfort, not physical incapability. Every working set should be taken until you're physically unable to complete another rep or believe you can't, right? Fail within the 4 to 9 rep range on all working sets, even on isolation movements like bicep curls. Yes, just because it's a bicep curl doesn't mean you do 15 reps. 4 to 9 reps are the best because you're getting mechanical tension from the get-go, okay? The last 5 reps before you fail are the most effective. So if you do 5 perfect reps, then you've done the 5 most effective reps. Simple as that. If you do 4, the world's not going to crash and tumble. You're still getting 4 effective reps, it's good. When you do 15 reps, the first 10 were kind of pointless. They're kind of just like better than nothing, just reps, yay. Like the last 5 are the most important. That's why I stick with 4 to 9, because then like pretty much all your reps in the set are going to be like very stimulating towards muscle growth. I can't really concentrate for more than 15 reps, so this is easier for me to just stay focused as well. And yeah, like apply equal intensity to all exercises. Isolation movements deserve the same effort as compound lifts. Your muscles don't distinguish between exercise types. They respond to mechanical tension and progressive overload. What this means is your first chest press you do at the start of your workout, you need to treat that with the exact same intensity as your overhead tricep extension in your last exercise in your workout. My biggest mistake, what kept me looking like this, it was like here, when I plateaued, and also when I was out of shape, was when and here as well, just when I wasn't looking ripped, was when I take the first exercises seriously, and the last I didn't really take that seriously. When I would I'd really try on my first compound movement, like my chest presses, but compound means multiple joints. So a chest press is still a compound, even if it's a machine, okay? Or an incline machine, or a Smith machine, whatever. It's not just a barbell bench. But when I treated my chest presses with more intensity than my overheads, my triceps were lacking. When I treated my isolations as if I had to get the rep up, and it was like, I had that set, I still did the warm-up sets, and I still did the working sets. Even on the isolations, oh my gosh, my physique blew up, okay? Here's the warm-up protocol. I'm not going to gatekeep it. It's 50%, 80% rule for every single exercise. Yes, even bicep curls. But I'm really warmed up. No, you're not, buddy. No, you're not. Okay, if you want to lift the most weight possible because your muscles follow something called the all or nothing rule. Let's use common sense and logic. If there's a guy who can bicep curl 25 kilos with perfect form, okay, for 8 reps, and there's a guy who can bicep curl 10 kilos with perfect form for 8 reps, provided they both fail on 8 reps, who's going to have bigger biceps? The guy who does 25 kilos. So what does that mean? The more weight you overcome, the more, the bigger your muscles are going to be. So in order to lift as much weight as possible without not only injuring yourself, but actually keeping form the same, is warming up properly so you reduce injury and your body is primed and ready to go and you're in high leverage position to lift a lot of weight. I bicep curl 30 kilos. That's why my biceps grew, okay? It's a 50%, 80% rule. So you get your target weight, then you get 50% of the working weight for 8 reps as your warm up. You just stop on 8. Okay, second warm-up is 80% of your working weight for 2 reps, okay? Then you execute the warm-ups with perfect form. They prime your nervous system and rehearse movement patterns for maximum performance. Here's a live example. Let's say you want to bicep curl 20 kilo dumbbells, okay? First warm-up set is 10, because that's 50% for 8 reps. Second warm-up is 16 kilos, which is 80% for 2 reps, 3 minutes rest, 20 kg dumbbells working set, 3 minutes rest. Could do the 20 kilos after, but if I go even more specific, depending on the amount of reps you got, can be dependent on whether you progressive overload or whether you move the weight down for the second set. If you've got 7 or more reps, you just stick with it, cool. If you've got 6 or less reps, you could drop to 18 kilos and then you get that for, 6 to 8. Or you could actually stick with 20 and then get 20 for a set of 4 or 5. It really depends on your personal preference. If you get 10 or more reps of 20, increase it to 22. Because then you'll probably get 22 for 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 reps if you got 20 for 10, okay? That's how you do it. And then you just take the same structure and workouts into every single exercise you do, right? Here is obviously the structure as well. I went over, right? This is what it looks like for every single exercise. Chest press, bicep curls, overhead tricep extension, dips, 50% warm up, 8 reps, 80% 2 reps, rest 3 minutes, first working set, 3 minutes, second working set. When you go through this same structure, you'll be like, damn, that's why I only need 2 sets. And then you're gonna recover more and you're not gonna get injured because you're not doing over volume and junk volume. Every single working set is needle moving to getting muscle, genuinely, okay? When you rest for less than 3 minutes, it creates fatigue, not muscle. The 3 minutes is the sweet spot to where your muscles are fully recovered and you're ready to go again. 2 properly executing working sets outperforms 5 rush ones, okay? The working set focus is don't focus on the pump. If the sole focus was the pump, then bodybuilders and people who want to get as much muscle as possible would be doing thousands of reps, or 50 to 100 to 200 reps on every exercise. That's why it's not about the pump. It's about mechanical tension and it's about doing 4 to 9 reps. Okay, so focus on a stable setup, controlled movement, consistent reps, progressive overload over time. You don't even have to focus on how it feels. If you do a chest press with perfect form, but you don't feel your chest entirely, it doesn't matter because the muscles follow the all or nothing rule. Your chest is bringing your bone across and it's still contracting. So obviously it needs to feel nice and not uncomfortable, but it's about your execution, it's about progressive overload, and your muscles will do the work. You can't defy science. If I do a bicep curl with perfect form and I don't feel my bicep, doesn't matter, because I'm literally doing it with perfect form and my bicep is working. If your bicep brings your bone up here, it works. You can't argue with science, okay? Muscles contract to move load regardless of whether you feel them working. Execution comes before sensation. Some form breakdown near failure is normal. Avoid dangerous positions and maintain basic control, but perfection is not required. The bottom line, come back to each session and beat your previous performance. When executed consistently, progress becomes inevitable, looking good becomes inevitable. Provided you eat well, provided you have the consistent mindset, guess what's going to happen to your physique? You're going to look absolutely awesome. It's literally, simple, not easy, right? Bang, you just follow it. That's how it is. Now, this is some like serious sauce. This is the training split structure, right? Your split does matter. People say it doesn't. If you want to look in the top 5% or top 10%, no. But if you want to be the top 1% and look awesome in a visible 8-pack and defined arms, yes, because when you have the right split and the right structure, then you can maximize more out of your lifts, then you can maximize more weight you're overcoming, then you can maximize more muscle, then provided your mindset and diet's on point, even more muscle than what you're getting before. This is the framework. The core split is a 4-day rotation, chest and arms, legs, back and shoulders, rest. This framework ensures high effort training on every lift while providing adequate recovery between sessions targeting the same muscle groups. I'll go over the first point again because I want to double down it. A strategic approach to organizing weekly training that maximizes muscle growth whilst managing fatigue and ensuring consistent progression is what's going to win, okay? This system here, which I just told you now, it goes over intensity, recovery, and sustainable performance. Okay, not just like variety and changing everything. The exercise sequencing strategy is your muscles should alternate in between workouts and in between exercises, okay? So, like, don't just batch all the movements on one muscle together. So, for example, when people do like push-pull legs or, let me just turn off this energy saver, trying to get in the way of my absolute valuable video here. I'm dropping everything I know. You should be very, very grateful, obviously. But so like when you do push-pull legs, let's say one of these like kind of bad splits, you do like all your chest movements at the start, and then all your triceps, and then all your shoulders or something like that. Let's say you do like an incline chest press, and then you do chest flies directly after. Your chest is going to be tired from the chest press, which is bad. Because when you do the chest press, yeah, you can do a lot of weight. When you do the fly, you're not going to be able to do as much weight because your chest is tired. And what does that mean if we go back to the all or nothing rule? Less weight, less stimulus, less growth. No, you're not training closer till failure. Your chest is just fatigued with lactic acid and you are just moving less weight. So it's worse. So you want to separate them within the workout. But aside from PPL, okay, this is what I do. There are many different variations, I'll be honest, like which I give to myself and my clients, but these are 3 which I can actually go over right now in a lot of detail and will directly help you. So chest, arms and abs, legs, back, shoulders, arms and abs, and then obviously you rest and then repeat. Version 2, chest, arms and abs, legs, back, shoulders, upper body. This is a 4-day, so if I make this clear, right, this is 4 days, 4 days, okay, days, 1 rest. And then you repeat, right? This variation is weekly and it's 4 days training, 3 rests, okay? Because then this is if you have a lot more of a busy schedule, or maybe you have recovery, like sort of issues where you need to recover a lot more, etc. Chest, arms and abs, legs, back, shoulders, upper body day, okay? Bang, that's a very good split as well. Version 3, this is where once you start making progress and you need to adjust your workouts and have more variety, because this is positive. When you get to version 3, it's good because you've actually hit a point where you've added a bunch of muscle to your frame, you're down in weight, you're lean and ripped, you're strong, there's a bit more variety, so then we can prevent plateau and we can progressive overload correctly. There's a very specific moment in your fitness journey where this needs to get enrolled into. It varies person to person, and it's like very obvious where your lift starts to plateau, you get lean, and it's like you need the extra variation, okay? I can always tell. And if I go into the actual split, I mean, obviously before I get into it, both of the versions, they actually space the muscle groups to maximize output and maintain performance quality strategically, right? This is like actually from my clients' workouts on the platform. No problem, all for free, because information is not your issue, right? Like there's loads of other different workout plans, some of them have, and this is just 3 I've picked. Yours caters towards your situations, your goals, your schedule, how busy you are, how long you have available in the gym. These are 3 taken from my clients. Enjoy it, okay? Because this is one of their splits. He has 2 back, shoulder, arms, and ab days, 1 and 2. This is version 3, okay? He has 2 chest, arms, and ab days. He has a leg day. Cool. If I go into one of his chest, arms, and ab days, you can see how the exercises are actually split up. So there's the decline ab crunch, there's the incline dumbbell bench, there's the dumbbell bicep curl, tricep push down, right? They're split up. Then we got the machine press again, then the cable rope hammer curl for his brachialis, then machine assisted dips, then we got the seated chest fly. Obviously his warm-up sets are there as well, which I've laid out for him. That depends on 50%, 80% what the weight, his target weight is, all laid out for him by me. And this is what's gonna allow my client here to completely just put on muscle whilst losing weight, provided his mindset's actually on point, provided I hold him accountable. Whereas it's crazy, like it's not even funny how big the changes are gonna be, but like what you can see and what you can actually structure for your own workouts is how I've changed the muscle groups. It's not, oh, incline dumbbell bench, then flat machine chest press, then the chest flies, then dumbbell bicep curls, then the cable rope hammer. No, I'm not doing all the chest, then all the bicep, then all the tricep. I'm splitting them all up. I do abs at the start because, let's be honest, a lot more likely to skip them at the end. And also, the exercises at the start of your workout are more hypertrophic than the ones at the end. So getting visible abs is a goal of mine and my clients. So I put it at the front, bang, more hypertrophy, amazing. And it's the same thing here. Like obviously this is another one of my guys' workouts here where it's just the chest, arms and abs, legs, back, shoulders, arms and abs. He's getting going with it and not at the phase where he's like super duper, like, when you're ripped and you have to keep changing it. Here's the back shoulder. Wait, I didn't even say that for you guys here, but this is the back, shoulder, arms and ab days. So this is back, shoulder, arms and abs. This is it. Okay, one of the ones. This depends on what you have in your gym as well. Like, let's say you have an upper back row, you do that instead. Let's say you're training at home, you can do a dumbbell bench upper back. This is catered on what was in my client's gym, right? So ab crunch cable, the upper abs, machine shoulder press with all his warm-up sets, working sets, line T-bar row, overhead triceps, preacher curl, trap 3 raise. This is a wire raise with dumbbells. He wanted to bring up his boulder shoulder specifically as well, so we put that in. Single arm, lat row, lateral raise cable, and upper back row. Boom. Hits his whole back. He's and shoulders and arms as well. That's an example. But what to take away from this is that, look, there's not all the back movements. It's not T-bar row, then lat machine, then upper back row. No, because they're getting split up. Because when you split them up, your back can rest and recover whilst your shoulder's going. It's kind of like a superset, but it's not a superset because you're not doing the exercises like during each other. It's you do the warm-up protocol for each one. Warm-up protocol here, okay? The 50%, 80%, right? And then you do that for one exercise, then you move on to the next one. Again and again and again. And if this is a lot of exercises, this doesn't even take that long, it's only 2 sets for each one, right? But this is where it's like, yeah, you can have a shorter day, right? This is one of my other clients' workouts, his upper body, and he has his warm-up sets done by me every single day because I want to make sure my guys are winning. And it's like the ab crunch cable, and then plate loaded, cable bicycle, tricep dumbbell pull down. Remember, we're not putting muscle groups directly after each other because look, technically, I could put maybe a pull down right next to the bicep curl. They're both using biceps, even though the pull down is the back. Pull down also uses biceps, but I've made sure to leave them separate, right? That's how I've separated them because you want to try and separate them as much as possible, and you're actually going to win. Okay, this is the version 2. This is version 2. Okay, that one was version 3, and then the bottom one here is version 1. Okay, and there's obviously a bunch of other versions, but we're not going to be here for 10 hours going over my 10 different variations. of my workouts. I'll just give you 3 for now. That's enough value. I don't want information overload, right? As I've just to reiterate, this is how it goes. Standard structure: 50%, 80% of your weight, your target weight. Remember, because if, let's say, as I said in the last example, where you bicep curled 20 kgs. Let's say you want to bump it up to 24 kilos on the bicep curl. You would do 12 kilos for 50%, and then 20 kilos for 80%, or roughly, right? And then, because it doesn't have to be on the exact percentage, but it has to be close to it. And then you go to 24 kgs on the bicep curl. If you want to up it, it's your target weight. So that's what you do. All exercises, remember. Here is the advanced warm-up protocol. Only use this if you really want to bring up a big compound movement, and only for one exercise in your workout. This is actually optional. You don't need to use this. The 50%, 80% is perfect. But let's say you have a big dumbbell bench. Like for me, yeah, on dumbbell bench, I would probably recommend it if you're really serious about increasing it. Because it's 3 to 4 steps, right? And it really does work better, but only for the big heavy movements, compounds, where you need them warm up. So let's say you want to bench 50 kg dumbbells. You can do 20 kgs for 8, 30 for 4, rest 2 minutes, 40 kilo dumbbells each arm, obviously for 2, rest 3 minutes, and then you do your working sets. Okay, that's the 3-step. For the 4-step, it is 10 to 12.5. Let's say for the 50 kg dumbbells, for 2 to 8, you just get the movements in. Then you're doing 50% for 8, 65%, which is 32.5 for 4, rest 2 minutes, 40 kilos for 2, rest 3 minutes, then your working sets. Whether you do 3 steps or 4 steps depends on the weight you do, depends on your injury record, and depends on how serious you are about actually increasing it. Because obviously if you do 4 steps, you will be slightly better off, but it is more time consuming, and it's not 100% necessary for everyone, right? Like 3 steps is usually the sweet spot. If you have a bit more time and you want to really maximize your dumbbell bench, or a shoulder press machine, or these heavy movements where you don't want to risk injury, and maybe the 50-80% is not quite enough, but the 50-80% is enough for 95% of the movements. What I would say is, this is what I notice with a lot of my workouts and some of my clients as well, is the working set behavior reveals the training effectiveness. Okay, so if your second set, like this is what you want your second set typically to achieve 1 to 2 fewer reps than your first set. If you got identical reps across both sets, that indicates insufficient intensity on your first set. Because even if you rest 3 minutes, okay, there's still going to be a teeny bit of fatigue. So let's say you get 20 kilos on bicep curls for 8 reps, then 20 kilos on bicep curls for another 8 reps. You didn't train as hard as what you thought you did on the first set of bicep curls. It should be 20 kgs for 8, then 20 kgs for 6 or 7 for the second set. Perfect case. The world's not perfect. You may get 5, you may get 8, you may get 9. As a one-off, it's fine. But if like consistently, you might get it for a lot less reps or the same number of reps. That's not good. Like typically, you want it to be 1 to 2 fewer reps. That's when you know you're on the right track and you're actually training hard and you're resting properly. Just to let you know, a large drop-off suggests poor form or inadequate rest periods. As I said, you drop off like 3 or 4 reps, so you get 20 for 8, and then your next set's like 4 or 5 reps with 20 kilos. Likely your first set was with bad form, or you didn't rest enough, or you didn't even train hard enough in your second set. There's multiple different reasons for it. It should be just 1 to 2 fewer reps than the first. That's what it should look like, perfect case. This systematic approach builds strength consistently, even during calorie deficits, with noticeable weekly improvements. Yep, that is how you lose fat whilst adding muscle. I've told you exactly how. Like, genuinely, just take notes, as I said. And now, we get to the finale, right? Why would I tell you exactly how to get in the best shape of your life for free? Because it's not all about building the physique and the information, it's about becoming that person also. A lot of people, when you give them the information, they don't stick to it. They need the accountability, they need the guidance, and they need the structure. Because look, information isn't the issue. There's already millions of meal and workout plans at your disposal. ChatGPT, meal plan. How does ChatGPT know it's catered towards your life? Simple. There is no excuse to get jacked after watching this video, provided you actually implement everything correctly and you hold yourself accountable and you stay consistent. There's no excuse. I've told you the mindset you need. You have to be consistent, you have to implement, you have to execute and cater it towards your gym. It's the accountability, it's having everything tailored towards you without the guesswork, without having to think, oh, how many reps and how many grams of food, like, nope, like that's what I've covered for my clients, and like, it's me manually going over your workouts, right? It's all about your relentless discipline, okay? Because there are going to be times where you're stressed, going to be times you find it hard, going to be times where you you don't feel like working out, where dinner's gone over. As I said, if I scroll out and go earlier at the events part, social event, when you feel like garbage, work runs late, like, that's not information issue, that's an accountability issue. You need someone to hold you accountable, because when you know that you've like actually have someone looking over your tracking, it's like, damn, I can't slip up. That's why people stay consistent. That's why Ronaldo has a coach. That's why even the best bodybuilders have coaches. That's why everybody is coaches, because it takes the emotion out of it, right? That's why I'm giving away all this information for free, because there's no excuse for you not to get ripped. Bro, you can implement all of this and get in the best shape in your life. You just have to stay consistent and have the right, and like that's the shit, right? We focus on these 4 pillars. I give my clients the perfect vehicle to get from point A to point B. And also, getting leaner, staying lean are 2 different ball games. This information will help you get ripped, but actually keeping it requires different structure, right? Because doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results is crazy. That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. You need to adapt it, because once you get leaner and add muscle, to ensure you're in a positive nitrogen balance and actually all cravings are at bay and you don't have excess hunger and you're not overeating, you need to adapt it again. And then adapt the workouts again, and then adapt the diets again. So you not only get lean, you stay lean forever. That's how I've been lean, with visible abs for life, right? It's like be lean for life. It's adapted correctly, because if it's not, then you just risk losing all the progress you worked hard for by implementing this information. This is the blueprint. This is the blueprint to get in the best shape in your whole life for free. No problem. If you have a call booked with me, then I look forward to speaking with you, and just make sure it's like an absolute priority for you to get in the best shape in your life, because if I'm spending all of my time holding you accountable, putting the correct structure in you, guiding you, okay, like it will kind of make me feel like a bit sad if this is not an absolute priority for you. There is a type form in the link in this video if you want to apply for my coaching. If you are a good fit, then I will personally reach out for you. And aside from that, let's get shredded. This is the blueprint. Let's get shredded.